All right, listen, it's your boy Spankdog, aka Puffinstein at YouTube. Like, comment, share, subscribe. You already know. Let's get right into it. All right, so my camera's been acting up. I'm still yet to figure out why it's freezing when I share pages. So when I go live, for now, I'm gonna be using my avatar. So we're gonna get right into it, though. Um, there's a man who's defending Donald Trump and tariffs, and a man who understands tariffs and export and imports like certified. He pulls up on the guy and he breaks down that he has it 100% wrong. So I'm gonna pull it up right now so you guys can see what I'm talking about.
And tariffs don't cause inflation; they cause success. They cause big success. So we're going to have great success.
This man really played almost half the country into thinking tariffs were a good idea because people just do not understand the basics.
That's why if you don't understand something, it's important that you admit it. You don't act like you know. You don't talk what you don't know. And you don't end up sticking your foot in your mouth on YouTube. I don't know how many people were watching this when this man sticks his foot right in his mouth, and there's another person who knows exactly what he was talking about, what he was acting like he was an expert about, and the man approaches the conversation and breaks down the truth instead of letting a person who wants to act like he knows everything but doesn't know what he's talking about and gets his card pulled right in front of everybody.
Who pays the tariffs?
The Chinese government pays the tariff.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. The government that is manufacturing that product, I just want it to be even. Instead of us paying 400% of tariffs.
How you doing?
Hey, good. I don't want to.
I'm an importer and an exporter.
Yeah.
For 20 years.
Okay.
Well,
when a product comes into the US, there's something called a tariff sheet.
Okay.
I, as the buyer of that product, follow US law and pay the tariff. Some goods are tariff free. But when I pay that tariff, I'm an American citizen, an American taxpayer, right? That tariff might be 1%, it might be 7%, it might be 14%. That means I'm a US company. I pay that tariff to the US government, and that increase in the cost of the product, I then sell to you for a higher price because I've got to cover that tariff.
Leave it up to Walter Masterson and this gentleman to fact check what is believed to be a member of MAGA in real time to educate them on tariffs.
It's simple. You heard the man. Tariffs make people charge more for the item in order to recoup the extra money they paid over the tariff, which is a bad thing.
Trump has announced that he will impose across the board 25% tariffs on steel and aluminium going into the United States. The US president said the tax on imports would apply to all nations' products, including Mexico and Canada, which is the United States' main supplier of aluminum. He had previously threatened 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada, but delayed them for 30 days last week. China's tariffs, announced in response to Mr. Trump's trade war, come into force today.
It's plain English, people. It's right there in black and white. The tariffs are no good as far as inflation and things costing more. The tariffs have to do with it.
This is a positive for the American consumer. Zero, as Masterson and co. try to explain further to this apparent Trump supporter.
But the trade relationship between two countries, tariffs come into play with the trade relationships between countries.
That's why you have free trade agreements,
Right.
But it doesn't mean that even within the free trade agreement, there are not tariffs. There are millions of tariff agreements between countries. The European Union may have trade free trade agreements within it, but there are products go out that are still tariffed.
Yes.
But it's still the consumer. But the consumer, I absolutely assure you, I do this for a living. The consumer bears the cost. Now, it may be that an import.
You hear that, right? The consumer bears the cost. We are the consumer, most of us at least. So it's in plain English, we're the ones paying more.
Imported product, even with a tariff, supplants a domestic product. But you don't want that because that's going to affect American jobs. If there's one thing you should take away from this extended conversation is you are always paying the tariff. Me, you, everyone here is always paying the tariff.
Fair enough.
There is no economic reality in contradiction to that.
My question is simply this. Will this person learn from it? Will this change his worldview? Time will tell, I suppose.
Today, socialism has bankrupted the oil-rich nation and driven its people into abject poverty. Virtually everywhere socialism or communism has been tried, it has produced suffering, corruption, and decay.
Well, a socialist country for us. Billionaires, on the contrary, love, and I mean love, socialism. Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStrom
Well, big shout out to Rick Strom, man.
Also, be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you.
You want to ask me a question?
I'm asking you, do you think we should tax billionaires? Give them less taxes?
They're already taxed. Do you understand what would happen if a billionaire turned around and said, I'm not going to buy that $300 million yacht? Do you understand what happened? Everybody on that yacht would not have a job. Do you understand that? Do you understand if
for America to work, they have to buy a $300 million yacht?
I'm not done with my answer.
So America is a $300 billion yacht. They have
$300 million. Do you know what would happen to this country if a billionaire stopped donating to the hospitals? Do you know what would happen? This would shut down. Do you understand that it takes a billionaire to incorporate a corporation to give you a job?
The middle class.
You see, that's what happens when people just talk. You see, like, you heard me quiet for a second because I didn't have anything to say that would have been, a positive contribution to the commentary. So I was paying attention. Now you see this man right here, that's what you call rambling. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He feels stupid, so he just don't shut up. All right? And that's just a fact. Look, let's hear it again. He's talking about a billionaire buying a yacht and how society would crumble if this man didn't buy a yacht because it provides jobs. Now, I don't know if you guys know how stupid that sounds, but I'll tell you, it's stupid.
Say $100 million. Do you know what would happen to this country if a billionaire stopped donating to the hospitals? Do you know what would happen? This would shut down. Do you understand that it takes a billionaire to incorporate a corporation to give you a job?
The middle class, the working class.
Without a billion.
Capitalism has made it where one man can make too much money. And the wealth has been devoted to a small percentage of the population. And there's millions and millions of people that are put it like this, living in poverty. And it just should be more equal. People thought capitalism was a beautiful thing, and it sounds good at first. It sounds good where, you can have a dream, you can build on that dream, and next thing you know, you're making money. But in rare instances, the person starts to make money that's astronomical. If I even said that right, but it's an enormous amount of money. We're talking about billions now, hundreds of billions, and what are we doing next? There's going to be a trillionaire. It gets to the point where people start to say the $1 trillion is just there, and there's people that are starving and passing away, no health care, and there's people that have 150 cars, and I mean, look, I'm gonna tell you this though too. I don't have the answers. I'm not gonna get up here and act like I have the answers. It takes a lot of research, a lot of discussions, but capitalism is not. That's not it. You understand? It sounded good, but then it became so lopsided that people started to realize that there's places that need fixing. There's things and people that need help, and they could help, but they choose not to. Not to mention that they spend money on things like war, you know, and I believe that a country's supposed to have a military, but I think that there's certain industries where there's so much money being made and it's a negative thing.
Billionaire, there is no middle class. There's nothing. Go back in history and look at the billionaires, and they are what developed this country. If you don't want to live in a developmental country, go south, go east, go west. This is the baddest.
He sounds a little not to discredit him like that, but the fact of the matter is he sounds like he's feeling a little happy. I could be wrong though.
That works in the world
Because of billionaires?
because of capitalism. Without a billionaire, middle class doesn't exist. Period. You're
The
right.
middle class is almost going to be extinct because of billionaires.
No, you're wrong.
That's exactly what I was just talking about. They proved my point. Michael Moore's documentary Capitalism pretty much just breaks it down. All you have to do is go check out Michael Moore's Capitalism, and it explains how, like I said, at first it sounds amazing. I have a dream, I make all this money and I can make endless amounts of money. But what happens is when there's 50 people, 100 people, 1,000 people that can generate that much wealth, it makes society financially lopsided. And that's what they're getting into right now. I hadn't seen this video. I didn't know after I said that they were literally headed right towards where I was talking about. So, but let's hear what else they have to say real quick.
Credit to Masterson for keeping us cool, because the conversation is about to take a serious turn.
It has produced suffering, corruption, and decay. Socialism's thirst for power leads to expansion, incursion, and oppression. All nations of the world should resist socialism and the misery that it brings to.
I don't believe anything this man says. He's about himself. One thing he's proven to me is that he cares a ton about himself. And I get the impression that he doesn't care about anybody but himself or his own people. And that's not what a president's supposed to be like.
To everyone.
Ah, yes. Take it from.
They talk about liberals and socialists, Democrats. Listen, man, I don't care if you're a conservative, Republican, Democrat. I don't care what you are. If you have a good heart and you look at a person and you see that person is hungry and you know that you could afford to buy him something to eat and you won't buy him nothing to eat, What does that say about you? Have we forgotten basic stuff like that? Logical, simple stuff that we were taught by our parents? Most parents I know would say you help people. You think if I seen somebody looking like their clothes are ragged, and I knew them for a while, or they're acquainted with me, or they're my friend even, that I'm not gonna, if I'm up, you think I'm not gonna help them? This is what I'm talking about. That ideology is absent from far right Republicans and conservatives, oligarchs. They've gotten to the point where anybody who doesn't have a ton of money must have been lazy or something like that, and that's why they're in a bad spot. And like I said, I don't generalize or whole anything. So I know, of course, there's people that have money that are good-hearted. Those aren't the people that I'm talking about.
From the man who uses the federal government to enrich himself and only himself through socialist policies, to call this out. What a crock.
What's wrong with socialism?
Everything. You want to know what's the problem with socialism?
Yeah, see, so what's wrong with socialism? That's what I was just saying. God forbid there's equality. You seen how he got over the man saying, what's wrong with socialism?
No, let me tell you something. Don't tell me libraries and roads are fucking social. Don't tell me that. That's bull. Venezuela. You want socialism? Define Venezuela. Define socialism. Venezuela.
Every time someone goes.
Let me tell you something too, and there's people out there that could hold their, you know what I mean? Like he sounds sippy, but I know dudes out there that might have knocked down a couple and still made sense, or still been, good natured. This dude, just happens to be somebody that I'm not really feeling what he's saying, and to top it off, he sounds like he's a little extra. He sounds like he might have knocked back a couple, and that's just my opinion. But yeah, he don't make no sense, and he sounds even sillier because he's wet.
Goes to define socialism, they always define capitalism.
Socialism. It was Facebook when they turned around and censored me and every other mother that spoke up.
That's capitalism. Yeah, that's capitalism.
You're wrong. That's not capitalism.
You just described capitalism.
You're wrong. You're right. It is socialism.
I asked him, give me an example for socialism, and he talks about Facebook.
Yo, my bad, Blanco, man. I had the messages down. I just peeped game right here. Let me see something on 54. All right, hopefully you're still there. That was just 4 minutes ago. Yo, big shout out to my man Frankie Blanco. I just noticed that he was in the building. Whether he left or not, I'm gonna highlight these comments real quick. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Blanco, if you there, hit me with another comment, man. My apologies. I haven't been on a live in a while because I've been having camera issues. So while I was doing the live, I didn't realize I didn't have the comment section highlighted. Yeah, I think he's out of here. Big shout out to Frankie Blanco, though, man. Much love. That's my brother right there, man. I missed him. Think he exited. Well, we'll see if he comes back. I'm getting close to the end of the video. Let's finish this.
What is happening?
Honestly, Walter, a great question.
Where are you now on the question of if abortion should be illegal and whether same-sex marriages should be allowed?
Well, I'm pro-life, and I have.
But what does that mean to you?
Well, it means it's an issue. I mean, it is an issue, and it's a strong issue. And as far as same-sex marriage, I am.
What is happening?
for traditional marriage, but it seems that that's really becoming a states' right issue, and probably the Supreme Court at some point is going to be making a ruling on that.
Abortion,
at some point they should be making
abortion, even in pregnancy, early in a pregnancy, is murder to you?
No.
My, oh my, how the times have changed. Meanwhile, the pro-lifers were posed a fantastic question by Masterson at the March for Life event. Check this out.
We have a petition here to support universal school lunch and universal child care. We just think people should have access to this, and we thought the best place to get signatures for this petition are the March for Life. This is the place where everyone cares about life. Would you like to sign the petition?
I don't really appreciate being ambushed on camera, but I do know that there are a ton of people down there that would definitely be willing to sign this.
No, I actually don't believe that schools should be providing kids lunch. I think it's up to the individual parents.
Universal school lunch and universal child care. And we're trying to get people to sign to show that, we care about babies when they're out of the womb. Would you like to sign the petition?
Like said, I'd have to look it up.
Are you interested in signing it?
I'd rather read about it first.
Pre-K and school lunch. That's it. Nothing crazy. Nothing radical.
They're saying free lunch and free childcare, and they won't say yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, people need help, man. What you don't understand, and it's not because they're lazy, bro. What do you think? Everybody that needs help is lazy? There's so many things that come into play. I don't even want to start running down the list of aspects and scenarios that happen where people need help, and it wasn't because they didn't want to go to school. It wasn't because they were lazy. It's because not everybody could be in a position where they have a ton of money, and that's just what it is. And they're over here asking, you think we should help people with health care? You think we should help people with child care? And they look like they don't want to betray their side, so they won't even answer freely.
We're just trying to show that it's universal school lunch is bipartisan and that universal pre-K is bipartisan. Very divided country, but we want to show the public that there's some unity there.
If the big hand of government gets involved, they tend to manipulate preconditions that I would necessarily not support.
We have a petition for universal school lunch. We have another petition for universal child care.
Universal school lunch and universal child care. It is not rocket science. It's 2 sentences. Do you support it or don't you?
We wanted to show that this is a group that cares about children. Are you interested in signing the petition?
We're trying to meet the rest of our group.
Oh, you got to get to your group? Oh, okay.
Oh, man. Come on. That's where we're living at. We're living in an age where if you ask a bunch of people, right? But this is the thing. It's almost like you could see that they didn't want to answer the question and it go against their party or their group. Why not just answer the question freely? Do you support universal health care? Do you support universal child care and universal food for children or whatever, free lunch or whatever it was? That's a no-brainer. What do you think? Universal child care and universal feeding the children. If you think that's gonna bankrupt billionaires, come on, think about that. Yo, listen, man, it's your boy Spankdog. Man, I miss my camera. I can't stand that it's been freezing. It happens when I share something I'm gonna do commentary on. So, I could still do videos in private for some reason. That's why I could keep the premium edits coming. But for now, going live is very not difficult. I'm just gonna have to settle for the avatar until I get the camera fixed. You know, yo, Frankie Blanco, man, my bad. I wish I would have seen that earlier. You know, check out my man Frankie Blanco's channel, man. He's a good dude. He got good beats, and he's a good brother. It's your boy Spankdog, man. Much love, real love. You already know what it is. I'm out of here. One.